We are joined now by Ihor Michalchyshyn. He is the CEO and the Executive Director of the Ukrainian Canadian Congress, joining us now here in studio. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for the invitation.
I'm starting our conversations with all the guests today is, given what you've seen so far, what stands out to you from the perspective of a Ukrainian Canadian?
I think the image we'll all see on the newspapers tomorrow morning, and that image of these two friendly men coming in the red carpet and sharing a limo ride, I think that was really jarring to me, to our community who are watching this. We've seen Putin indicted by the International Criminal Court. We know that this is the man who's orchestrated an invasion and genocidal war, frankly, and to have an American president welcome that kind of a person on American soil in that way is really jarring.
What are your biggest concerns in this moment? Do you have any hope that perhaps this can be the starting point for some kind of plan to peace?
I mean, we all hope that there will be peace, but I think our perspective, my perspective, having watched how Russia operates, how Putin operates, is that there isn't a high chance of that he has steadfastly ignored any warning or ceasefire pressure by the Americans. He, prior to 2022 invasion, pretended to play diplomatic games with the West and with others and with Ukraine. So I don't think that Russia has a great track record on delivering anything in a diplomatic negotiation, and they didn't put any signals out that they were going to come to this meeting and make any concessions. We were expecting that this is going to be an opportunity for him to rant and rave, and on his, literally back to the USSR moment, that Ukraine is not a state and it's not real, and all of these kind of tropes that he's been talking about. So, I mean, it'll be very interesting to see what he says. I think that the brave reporters who were yelling at him have it right, that this is a man who's overseeing kidnapping and murder of children, and he's pretending to, be something he's not.
You sort of mentioned back to the USSR. There are some not so subtle signals Russia was sending before the meeting. First of all, the first thing we have to acknowledge is the deadly attacks in Ukraine that took place in the hours before. Yeah. Second, Sergei Lavrov, who is the foreign minister, I believe our control room has this video. It's coming, so we'll put it up on screen in just a second. We have this video of Sergei Lavrov, who is the Russian foreign minister. He's wearing a sweatshirt that says CCCP, yep, which is USSR. It's literally USSR. We're told by American reporters who have been in contact with their Russian spokesperson that apparently on the plane, the Russian delegation was served chicken Kiev for dinner or for lunch, like as a meal. These are not subtle things.
No, these are not mistakes. These are not.
It's not a coincidence.
Yeah, this is all part of the, I would say, almost mockery of a negotiation process, of the kind of, it's a showcasing of bravado. I think unfortunately the result of all this is that Russia is no longer isolated, right? Putin has his photo op with the American president. The pressure will now be, Trump was talking about having him at the G8 and other, venues, and the isolation and the all the efforts that have been made to isolate Russian officials and the leadership are now crumbling away, and that's the biggest win that Russia has today.
And you know what? Speaking of sort of wins, they're not going to the press conference just yet, but I just want to let you know we're getting sort of alerts on our news wire system. And according to the Russian side of things, a Russian spokesman, a Kremlin spokesman, says on the meeting, they describe it, this is from the Russian side, the talks between Putin and Trump went, quote, remarkably well. So that is, at least in this initial moment, what the spin from Russia is coming out of this. I know that we are going to get a lot of information in sort of the hours and the days to come. Oftentimes when these kinds of events happen, the readouts from the Americans and the Russians sort of like describing what happened, oftentimes they are very, very different. But I want to ask you, you talk about, the way that the signals Russia is sending in the lead up to this meeting, also the certain mockery or the trolling. As a Ukrainian watching this happen, like, how are you feeling?
Like we've seen it many times before. I mean, that's why I don't think that Ukraine and Ukrainians are surprised by any of this. This is a repeat of the same plot that has been repeated many times. The kind of bravado, the mockery, the intimidation that Putin's done with other world leaders, like Angela Merkel and other, all of that stuff is true. I don't, for Ukraine, this is about a peace, a ceasefire, and recognizing the fact that Russia is occupying and illegally invaded the country, and that's not going to be addressed, I don't think, by this press conference. Trump sometimes says these things and sometimes recognizes that literally every day missiles are hitting Ukrainian civilians and killing them. And then sometimes we're off on another tangent and we're making deals and we're talking about, sort of almost alternate reality. But I would say anything that Russian state media is reporting, I would take that with a grain of salt. But it is interesting to see that that's how they're positioning.
That's the spin. Yeah, it's not about whether it actually
went well. It's going to be a great
well.
success for Putin. He was welcomed with pomp and ceremony. He's a respected world leader. I think that's what Trump has given him out of this.
In this moment, from the Canadian perspective, Canada is a middle power, but Canada has made significant contributions to supporting Ukraine in this moment. Do you think there's more Canada could be doing, or what do you want to see from Canada? Always.
No one thing any country or any ally of Ukraine is doing will be enough. It's a long war now, and it's not ending anytime soon, as we see. What Canada can do, I mean, right now we were pleased to see this week that the Prime Minister with European allies is standing there reminding the American president of the key principles, that it isn't up to the American president to negotiate away Ukrainian territory, that Ukraine needs to be at the table, and those are important voices in this debate, and that has to be said many times and loudly. Everything that we can do includes support for the military, the armaments that literally are protecting Ukrainians every day, the air defense that helps them shoot down these missiles and drones, the hundreds that come every day. And we have to be looking at, this morning we were meeting, veterans and military families and the long-term impact that this has on Ukraine, on its people, and all of us who have family members there who are living through this. It's become very shockingly normalized. You can have, every day you can have the same conversation with people about how many missiles, how many drones, where are the fires, how is everybody doing? This is almost 4 years. We're going to be going into year 4 of this. And it's so shockingly normalized that it's hard to sort of shake that feeling that this is going to go on forever.
That is a real difficult when things become normalized, when in this, life or death situation, it just gets so incredibly difficult. Ihor Michalchyshyn, thank you for your time. You are the CEO and the Executive Director of the Canadian Ukrainian Congress. Thank you so much.
Great, thanks.